Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Hey guys, and welcome back to Pixel Cherry Ninja's channel. There's been awesome updates for the Nintendo 64 again. I've been busy with this thing called work, so I've not been able to cover it like daily like I usually like to do. So I have to be selective with the time I have. But the last time I updated, the last time I tested the core, the update was on the 17th. Since then, we got one on the 19th, the 20th, and this is the one we're looking at on the 21st. Now we'll have a look at the update notes and what this core brings. But then one of the main things on there, it now has rumble support, and it's just easy to get that going. You just need to go and select it from the OSD, select rumble pack 1. You can also pick a controller pack so you can access games that require that kind of saving on the Nintendo 64. But honestly, like, the rumble is amazing. I can't, obviously I filmed 1080 snowboarding, I had the rumble going, and it just works. Now on the N64, when I played it, I don't think I ever used the rumble pack. I never had one. No one I knew had one. It just wasn't, because it wasn't part of the controller, it was something you had to add. I don't think I ever tried it. So a lot of these games, when I'm playing them like 1080, for me the rumbling feels weird. But hey, if you're one of the lucky guys that actually used it and played it, then you may like it. Now in some other games, like I tried it in another game, in Ridge Racer, and in Ridge Racer it kind of felt good. It felt more natural than 1080 snowboarding, and that's probably because I played 1080 snowboarding a lot, even though it doesn't look like it based on the gameplay you're seeing now. But I did play it a lot, but I never associate rumble with it. Whereas Ridge Racer, I'm kind of playing it for the first time, or around, you know, when this core came out is when I started playing it. But anyway, let's have a look at some more games. Okay, so guys, here's Ridge Racer 64, and I think I'm getting better at it, at least based on like my previous attempts on playing this game. Now this game does look a lot better. It just, I don't know, I can't pinpoint exactly what it is, but on every build it just seems to improve. It's just a good playing experience on this. Now I am crashing, but I kind of am figuring out the kind of mechanics in this ever so slightly, like the skid. I even tried at one point doing like the 360 skid where you go all the way around, which I was able to do on like the PSP a lot. Haven't quite worked out how to do it on here. But more importantly, rumble is supported on this, and it works really, really well. Like, I have to say, my experience with it, I really enjoyed the rumble feature on this core on Ridge Racer 64, and I was using the NSO, the Nintendo Switch Online controller, for everything you're seeing in this video. That is what I tried, and it works with that. Now in order to get it to work, it was a little bit temperamental. I was trying it last night when it was late and I was just making mistakes, so I kind of decided to sleep and then rest up and do it again the next day. So I updated to the latest unstable, the latest version of the Nintendo 64 core, but it still wasn't working for me. I then went and downloaded some unstable drivers that are available on the MiSTer FPGA Discord, and bang, it just worked for me. Now it is a bit temperamental because sometimes when I boot it again it wouldn't work, and then I'd have to do a reset or a power cycle and it will work again. No doubt these will get fixed up and added to a MiSTer unstable or a MiSTer like stable main in the future, but for now, you know, it does work. It works really, really well. It's just, if it doesn't work for you and you've gone in the OSD and you've switched rumble on, just give it a reset, give it a power cycle. Obviously make sure you've got the drivers that you need on there. They're available on the Discord. It works really, really well. I tried it on a number of games. I only kind of featured two in here in this video, which is 1080 snowboarding and Ridge Racer, and they work really, really well. In 1080, like I said, like I'm just not used to, I'm not used to having it in that game, so it felt a little bit off to me. But that's my own experience. That's because I played that game a lot on Nintendo 64, and yeah, it just felt off. However, Ridge Racer, it feels amazing. Like, it is the way I will play this game. So what I'll say with rumble is, try it out on the games. Maybe you're gonna like it on some, maybe you're not gonna like it on others, but you know, turn it off, turn it on, how it suits you, how it pleases you. Next up, guys, let's have a look at Scooby Doo. Who didn't like Scooby Doo growing up, man? Well, I absolutely loved it. One of the best cartoons ever made. Now, we boot this up. As you can see, no controller pack detected. All you need to do is go into the OSD menu, bang, turn on CPAC, and it has found it instantly. So we're able to save Scooby Doo now, if that's your dig, if you want to play a bit of Scooby Doo. Now, I've never played this game. It's one of the new ones. It's one of the games, or the the games that's working on the newer versions of the core. Now, you may have played this. It feels like a point and click. Not sure if it's something I want to play now. Maybe you guys have got some nostalgia for it. And another tip as well, if the controller pack, for example, you move to another game and it's working on Scooby Doo, and there's another game where you need the controller pack and it's not working, go into system settings, and I think there's an option, what is it, like reset controller pack or set controller pack to default, or like, actually sorry, I think it's called like format controller pack. So just format the controller pack and start it as a fresh one for that particular game. So just remember, if you are using it, cool. If it's not working, go into system settings in the OSD and format your controller pack. But here we go, we've got Scooby Doo, and it's it feels weird. Initially, I didn't know who I was controlling, but you're controlling Shaggy and Scooby Doo follows you. And honestly, it is just a point and click game. You know, like you can't pass this screen until you put out the fire. It doesn't let you do it. I guess it kind of forces you to learn some of the mechanics. But this game's running well. Okay, just wanted to fast forward a little bit where, you know, they meet with the rest of the groovy gang, and I can't remember what their band is called. But hey man, this is Scooby Doo. Let me know in the comments below if you played this, or if you are going to play it, is this one of the games you are waiting for on the core? But Scooby Doo works. It's awesome. The controller pack works, so you can save it. Awesome stuff. Okay, here's a game called Aero Gorge, and guys, like, I never really knew about this game, but I have to say it feels kind of okay. It's no F-Zero or anything, but it's not actually a bad game. Like, I played it and I was like, okay, this is kind of interesting. I don't know the review scores. Like I said, I don't often check them. I kind of like to get into games blind because I do like a lot of games that reviewed poorly, and there's some games that I reviewed highly. They're critically acclaimed, and I just don't like them. Like, I think they're crap. And I get a good example of that is Hollow Knight. Like, I love Metroidvania games, and I've heard so much praise for Hollow Knight. I've tried getting into it like at least 3 or 4 times, but you know what, I just don't like the game. But this game does feel kind of interesting. I'm sure there's more to it. Initially I thought, okay, it's like a racing game, but I guess the name should have given it to me, like Aero Gorge or Gauge, however you say it. You kind of fly, man. You can fly around in this. It's kind of decent, and it's kind of took me by surprise because I wanted to kind of try out some different games. I wanted to do games on this video that I don't normally do. I'm sure there's some games that I normally do, but hey, there's some that I don't. I wanted to check it out, and let me know. Did you guys actually play this on the Nintendo 64? Was this one of the games you played? Like, honestly, I know nothing of it, and it's the first time I'm trying it, and I kind of think it's all right. Okay, so here's another game that supports the controller pack, and it's Duke Nukem. And guys, I have to say, I can't go back to those controls. It's just so tough. Like, my brain is so confused. Nothing is natural. Like, I have to move it around a specific way, and it's kind of tough. Now, I'm sure if I was to go through it and play this game rather than just kind of testing a few minutes of the game, I'd be like, yeah, you know what? I need to do a control scheme that I'm a little bit more used to. But it's just weird. It's not the muscle memory that we have. At least if you've been playing like modern games for, like, you know, the last decade or two, you know, we're kind of familiar with an industry standard dual analog stick controls. So I can still kind of move those over to the Nintendo 64, provided the C buttons act as the right analog stick in some kind of way, which is usually used for aiming. So they definitely need to move the control, shuffle the control scheme around to suit you. I mean, you might be okay with it. Maybe you played this back in the day and all of a sudden you're like, wow, I remember it. I'm going straight back into it. Because in honesty, when I did try GoldenEye, it's not available on this core yet, just to point out, but when I was testing out the Nintendo Switch controller and I ran the PC version on Retro, not the PC version, sorry, the N64 version via RetroArch, I was kind of all right with the controls, better than I expected to be. But maybe that's just because I played it, and somewhere in the depths of my brain, like, there's a little bit of GoldenEye knowledge there, because we did spend hundreds of hours playing that, man. I mean, we spent days and days having multiplayer matches on that, so maybe some of it kind of stuck around. But Duke Nukem, I just couldn't get on with the controls. But you know what, it's Duke Nukem. I remember my older cousin, he's like 3 or 4 years older than me, was always my hero growing up, someone I always looked up to, and he used to tell me about this game Duke Nukem. It's amazing. And you know, even told me, like, there's one part, he showed me like a hidden part, I can't remember where it is, but you kind of end up in some strip club or something. And you know, we were like young guys then, like you know, me like maybe, I don't know, early teens, him later teens, with that cool, doing that kind of Beavis Butthead style laugh. But hey man, Duke Nukem works well, it looks well. Go and try it out, play it on the core. Now, if you're not playing this core, guys, honestly, this is a great time to get into it.
Ooh, I needed that.
Bandit sighted. Ready?
Here we have Aero Fighters Assault. Now, I don't really know much about this game. When I was looking at a list to see what games had like the rumble feature, this was one of them. So I kind of ran it, and guys, like again, like with a lot of the games on the N64, I just found this really, really hard to control. It's probably not that bad. I'm probably quite bad at simulations. I'm more like the arcadey flying games, you know. Rogue Squadron, Afterburner's another one that obviously I played growing up, and the controls were definitely more arcadey and that. And over here, as I try and navigate, honestly, at some point I end up crashing on the floor. But for me, the rumble didn't work on this initially. I didn't go to retest it. I then moved over to another game. But I'm pretty sure if I gave it a reset, went through a power cycle, it would. And that's why I was saying with the rumble at the moment, in my experience, I mean, I could be doing something wrong, but like it wasn't always working, and it was really weird because, for example, it was working like last night. I got it working on 1080 snowboarding, for example, but I was tired. I was like, let me just go to sleep, because doing videos and doing stuff when I'm tired, it just takes me as long, and they end up being a lot worse than they normally are. And I'm not saying the bar is high with me, so but today I'm a lot fresher. I'm feeling good when I'm doing it. So last night I done 1080 snowboarding, it was working, and this morning when I turned it on, exactly the same. I saved everything, it didn't work, and then I had to like reset it and do it again. And like I said, this is a work in progress core. I could be doing something wrong, and or like in further more MiSTer mains being updated, or the unstable being updated, the cores being updated, it will get implemented. It'll get implemented where it will work every time. So maybe the issues I'm having will be ironed out in a future core. But yeah, man, this check this game out. Yeah, it's kind of all right. It is all right. I think I would have enjoyed this if I played this at the time of the Nintendo 64. I don't think it's something I'm going to play now. And here's one of the newer games that's working as far as I know. I'm really interested in this because, okay, so Extreme G2, Extreme G Racing 2, this was one of the games, like when we were testing the core earlier on, you know, when we were just getting black screens and some things were showing like a little bit of life. I'm talking like 1% life, you know, like kind of boot into a title screen and crash or something. Yeah, so this was one of them, but now it's nice to see, as far as I can tell, like fully working. I don't know what's wrong with me here. Like, I'm pressing the accelerate button, and honestly I can't keep up with the rest of the racers. Clearly I'm doing something wrong, and I don't know if there's like a hidden accelerator button or anything. So I know I always say my gameplay is bad, but in this case it is particularly bad. I can't even say particularly bad. But yeah, my speech and the gameplay is just bad on this. But good news, the game's running, and hey, if you played this growing up, then cool, you can play it now. Maybe let me know in the comments below, how the hell do I accelerate and keep up with those things? I'm holding down the accelerate button and I can't even go up a ramp properly. I'm like, there you go, I'm pressing other buttons, but it's making me look backwards. I don't know. I don't get this game. I remember like when I had my game shop, like, yeah, people kind of like this game, but I don't remember this being on the Nintendo 64. I think I remember this game being on the PlayStation 2, not even a PlayStation 1. But here you go. Is that the ramp where I can't even make the jump? Okay, guys, here we have Neon Genesis Evangelion. Is that how you say it? Now, I remember this kind of being an anime, and I have to say, guys, this game just looks cool. But again, like, I've never played it before. The only move I could figure out was some kind of slap. Like, I've got that robot shooting me with lasers. It's menacing me, and I'm just going over and I'm slapping it. There was another button that kind of let me block, but the block looks like some kind of coward block. Like, hey, I'm holding my hands up, don't hurt me, please don't hurt me, and I am just getting crushed by this thing. And honestly, I was pressing buttons. There was only one attack button. Either I know my controller was configured because it's working on the other games. I've got no idea. But how cool does this game look? It's a Japan-only game. At least that's the only version of the ROM I had. I didn't have a USA or a European one. But it just looks really, really cool. I mean, it's just something cool about giant robots slapping each other. And my one literally is only slapping. It just has one move, it just slaps. Now, I don't know if you're supposed to lose this. I don't think you are, because when I lost it offered me the choice to continue. But this robot is a slapper. But, you know, if you played this game, I don't know if there's like a fan translation now. At least, you know, when I played it, the title screen and everything was in English. The names up there are in English language. And hey, how much reading do you need to do in a robot slapping game? Okay, so guys, here we have 40 Winks. Now, I kind of remember this game being on a PlayStation. I don't remember much about this on the Nintendo 64, and it's something that I remember when I looked at this in computer magazines at the time. It just looked really, really good, and it plays. I don't know if you'd want to play it. At least I didn't enjoy it, but again, I'm not really much of a 3D platforming fan. But the 3D platform games like Mario and Banjo-Kazooie and other ones that I've tried definitely seem better than this one. But hey, maybe you know, there's some appeal to it. But let's have a look at some of the update notes. So on the 19th, added controller pack handling. You can now set the controller type for each of the 4 controllers in the on-screen display. Rumble is only a placeholder. Okay, so that was a placeholder on the 19th, but now it's working now. So, and let's have a look. CPAC is auto-formatted when the core is booted. Awesome to know. If you switch games and games cannot work, with the previous CPAC, you can format it in the system submenu in the OSD or reboot the core. Okay, that's what we kind of spoke about earlier. All 4 CPACs of the controllers, no matter if it's currently inserted or not, only the system setting counts and saved together with any other save type in one file on SD card for each game. Okay, hopefully you guys made sense of that, because while I was reading it, I didn't have a full chance to digest it. But what I'm getting is the controller pack works, and in the next update here on the 20th, added Rumble, which we know is working because I tested it, and only autosave at the time of the OSD is open. So nice, short and sweet. And the latest update, and this is the one we're testing out now, the 21st, the reality display processor RDP interpret 4-bit RGBA as CI, for example Extreme G and Glover Extreme G that we tested out, and Glover I haven't. So RDP fixed loading of TLUTS or TLUS. Again, I'm not familiar with my technical thing. I know sometimes some of my friends that are developers actually laugh and say, give me a shout before you do a video and we'll educate you a little bit. But anyway, from unaligned RD RAM address e.g. Glover and Harvest Moon. RDP implement last missing command decoding, not used yet, and RDP clear 9th bit buffer when new fill is started, and RSP fixed transpose vector operand forward stall. Okay, so that kind of covers it. Sorry about the flubber glubber with the tluts. You can educate me down below in the comments. But yeah, honestly, awesome updates, and who knows, by the time I release this video, there might even be another cool release. Okay guys, the final game we are looking at is the Powerpuff Girls game. So, and the reason I want to have a look at this, okay, so it's not quite perfect, at least not for me. And as you can see, like, your characters are disappearing and reappearing, and I'm some little girl and I don't know what I'm fighting, some kind of fat dude. At the very least, it looks funny. I'm not sure how good of a game it is. I don't really see much depth to it. Maybe some of you guys out there played it and can tell me different. But the reason that I'm showing this game is because, okay, this is one of the games as well when the core was in early development, and just like maybe 1 or 2 games started to slightly work. This was one of the games that kind of booted up and we got into game, and you know that sofa on the left and that table, it wasn't there. We were getting like minimal kind of things, but the game was running and a lot of stuff was missing. So it's just nice to see so much come together for this game. So hopefully we'll get more in the future. But that's kind of it for this video, guys. Again, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then hey, a subscription and a like is always super appreciated. Share any thoughts or comments below, and do feel free to point out any of the mistakes or any of the mispronunciations I've done. Anyway guys, take care of yourself, take care of each other. This is Pixel Cherry Ninja out.